One night, Jay was working very late in Lagos. He finished work and did not want to sleep at the office. So he decided to drive home. It was very late. The time was 11:45 p.m. The road Jay used to go home was always quiet at night. When Jay was close to Ikorodu, he saw a man standing on the road. The man was waving his hand, asking Jay to stop. The man was wearing a white cloth and had no shoes on his feet. Jay wanted to drive away, but something made him stop. Jay looked at the man. The man looked very tired. He had no bag, no wallet, nothing. He just stood there. The man looked like he was about 40 years old. Jay opened his car window and asked, "Where are you going?" The man said, "I am going to Ajagunal." Jay said, "Come in, I am going that way too." They started moving. For 5 minutes, the man did not talk. He just looked outside the window. After 5 minutes, the man looked at Jay and asked, "Oga, do you have children?" Jay said, "Yes, I have children. 2 girls and 1 boy. Why do you ask?" The man nodded his head and said, "It is fine. I pray you see them tomorrow." Jay became very scared when he heard this. Jay asked, "Why would you say that?" The man just smiled and said, "You should not have picked me tonight." Jay tried to be brave and laughed a little. He thought maybe the man was joking. Jay looked at the man again in the mirror. He saw that the man's feet were very dirty. The man's whole body was dusty, but there were no wounds on his body. Jay looked closely and saw something written on the man's shirt. It was written with an old marker. The writing said, "Oh, Alabi SS3B. Jay became more afraid. He asked the man, "Oga, where did you come from?" The man looked at Jay. He did not answer fast. He just kept quiet and looked outside again. Jay felt his heart beating very fast. He was sweating even though the car was cool. Then the man finally spoke. He said, "I came from the other side." Jay was confused. He asked, "Which other side? I don't understand." The man smiled again, but this time the smile looked very strange. He said, "I was coming back home, but nobody saw me. You are the first person to stop for me." Jay was now shaking. He started thinking, who is this man? What does he mean? Jay looked at the road. He wanted to stop the car, but he was too scared. He did not want to make the man angry. Jay asked again, "What happened to you? Why are you dusty? Why is your shirt like that?" The man did not answer. He started humming a song. The song was very slow and sad. Jay listened to the song. Sounded like an old school song. Then the man started talking again. He said, "I wanted to go home, but I could not find my way. Many cars passed me, but they did not stop. You are the only one who helped me." Jay felt tears in his eyes. He did not know what to do. He looked again at the writing on the man's shirt. "Oh, Alabi SS3B. Jay thought, SS3B? That means Senior Secondary 3, Class B. Was this man a student? Jay took a deep breath. He said in a small voice, "Oga, please tell me who you really are." The man turned and looked at Jay. This time his face looked very serious. He said, "My name is Alyamide Alabi. I was a student before in SS3B. Jay felt his hands shaking on the steering wheel. The man continued, "Many years ago we went for a school trip. On the way there was a big accident. I fell out of the bus. Nobody saw me. Nobody helped me." Jay's eyes opened wide. He felt cold all over his body. The man said, "Since that day, I have been walking on this road. Every night I try to go home, but no one helps me." Jay was now breathing very fast. He wanted to stop the car and run away, but his body could not move. The man looked at Jay again and said, "You were a good man. You stopped for me, but you should not have picked me tonight." Jay's mouth was dry. He asked, "Why? Please tell me, why should I not have picked you?" The man did not answer. He looked outside again. His face looked sad. Jay started praying inside his heart. He was so scared. He did not know what would happen next. The road was still dark and empty. Jay looked at the time. It was almost 12:30 a.m. Then the man slowly turned his head back to Jay. He opened his mouth to say something. The man opened his mouth and said, "Tonight is the last night I will walk this road." Jay looked at him with big, scared eyes. "What do you mean?" Jay asked with a shaky voice. The man said, "Tonight, I finally found someone kind enough to stop. Someone brave." Jay did not feel brave at all. He felt like crying. His whole body was shaking. The man looked at Jay and smiled again. This time, the smile looked soft, like he was happy and sad at the same time. He said, "Thank you for helping me. You are the first person who saw me as a person, not a ghost." When Jay heard the word ghost, his heart almost stopped. Jay started shouting, "Blood of Jesus! Blood of Jesus! Oh God, help me!" But when Jay looked at the man again, the seat beside him was empty. Jay screamed and almost lost control of the car. He stopped the car by the side of the road, jumped out, and ran far away from the car. He looked back. There was nobody in the car. The man was gone. Jay fell on the ground and started crying. He could not believe what just happened. He remembered the man's words, "I pray you see your children tomorrow." Jay stood up slowly. He looked at the sky. He started to pray, "God, please let me see my family again. Please save me." Jay did not know what to do next. Should he enter the car again? Should he run home? Jay stayed on the ground for some minutes. His heart was beating very fast. He looked around. The road was still empty. No other cars, no people, nothing. Just silence and darkness. Jay was so scared, but he thought about his family. He wanted to go home and see them. He stood up slowly and walked back to his car. When he opened the car door, he looked at the seat where the man sat. The seat was very dusty. It was like sand was poured there. Jay felt cold. He started the car and began to drive very slowly. His hands were still shaking. As he drove, he started to remember the man's words again and again. "I pray you see your children tomorrow." Jay began to cry while driving. He prayed out loud, "God, please protect me. I want to see my family. I will never pick a stranger at night again. Please help me reach home safe." Finally, after some time, Jay saw lights. He was getting close to his street. When he entered his street, he saw his house. He parked the car very fast and ran inside. His wife and children were sleeping. Jay fell on his knees and thanked God. He went to his children's room and saw them sleeping peacefully. He touched their heads and started crying again. He was so happy to see them. Jay could not sleep that night. He sat in the living room and thought about what happened. Who really was that man? Was he a ghost? Was it a test? Jay did not know the answer. But he knew one thing: he was very lucky to be alive and see his family again. Okay, let's finish it. The next morning, Jay's wife saw him sitting in the living room. His eyes were red. He looked very tired. She asked, "Jay, what happened? Why did you not sleep?" Jay looked at her slowly and said, "Something happened last night. Something I can never forget." Jay told his wife everything. How he saw the man on the road. How the man was dusty and had no shoes. How he talked about Jay's children. And how he disappeared from the car. His wife covered her mouth with her hands. She was very scared. She said, "God really saved you. You must pray and thank God. He protected you and brought you home safe." Jay nodded his head. He felt very thankful. From that day, Jay stopped driving at night. He also stopped picking strangers on the road. Jay prayed every morning and night. He thanked God for his family. He loved them even more. He promised to always take care of them and never take life for granted again. Jay also told his friends at work about what happened. Some people did not believe him. They laughed and said he was dreaming. But Jay knew the truth. He knew he had met a spirit that night. And he knew God saved him. Moral of the story: always thank God for your life and your family. Be careful at night and don't trust strangers easily. Sometimes, helping people is good. But you must also be wise and pray for God's protection. Life is a gift, we should not take it for granted. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment.